if Bitcoin goes to as high as I think, gold is going to go multiples of today's price as well. I mean, they both, they're both sound money. I mean, I think I've used this in the past. I'll do it here. It's just, gold is analog sound money. It's great. 8,000 years, huge Lindy effect. And, Bitcoin is digital sound money, much newer, riskier, harder to understand. A lot of people aren't in it yet, but they're coming. The hardcore in the Bitcoin world say not your coins, not your keys. And we're not big fans of the ETFs because
Bitcoinzilla stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoinzilla today and enjoy the new edge. Larry Lepard shares whether Bitcoin might reach $7 million, reveals inflation's risks, and compares gold with crypto in this video. Stay tuned to discover his insights on financial revolution now.
But the issue with the ETF, I mean, and you're right, Trump is favorable to it, but let's talk about a risk there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, the next 4 years don't go well, and in 4 years the voters are fed up with this, and they go hardcore blue, and it goes to the other side. And Stephanie Kelton is now the Treasury Secretary, okay? Mm-hmm. And Andrew Yang is VP, and they do universal basic income, and they're going to print money like crazy. And they look at it and they say, gold and Bitcoin are the two things that are telling everybody that the dollar is failing. We can't have that.
Uh-huh.
We're going to tax them at 90%, and we're going to do what Roosevelt did. We're going to seize the gold, and we're going to seize the Bitcoin. We're going to go to those. We're going to go to those ETFs and say, "Hey, ETF, company, Fidelity or BlackRock, send us all those Bitcoin and cash your people out for dollars."
Mm-hmm.
That's entirely possible. I mean, and it's certainly one of the risks. Now, if you were a hardcore Bitcoiner, you wouldn't have your money in the ETF. You'd have it on your own wallet in cold storage. You'd have your 12 words, and you might make a decision at that point in time that you didn't want to comply with the order to turn yours in, and you might decide you want to, change your citizenship somewhere else. So, but all of those things are certainly risks, Trey. I mean, that's why I say, there's a sensibility here to having balance among all these assets, right? You just don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And therefore, I look at all sides of the issue, and like I said earlier, it's become a bigger part of my portfolio. It didn't start there; it went up a lot, and that 7's not guaranteed. But I think if you read it and you read and understand the Metcalfe's law piece of it, I mean, that's the thing. The thing that I don't know. I mean, I'll disclose this about the book. I wonder what your reaction to it was, but I mean, when I was writing the book, when I went and I looked at the math of how much these network businesses have increased since the IPO.
Yeah, you have that paragraph on Google, Amazon. It's at 227,000%.
That kind of just blew my mind. I mean, I'll tell you what Trey's talking about. It's very bright. Since its IPO, Amazon is up 218,000%. Since its IPO, Google is up 9,000%. Since its IPO, Facebook's up, 1,000%, whatever. They're big numbers. General Motors, from 1916 to present is up like 400x. I mean, so I was taught investing in a world of linear growth and PEs and PEG ratios and Sharpe ratios and all the traditional metrics that any investor learns, Graham and Dodd kind of stuff. That's what I was taught. And then along come these network businesses. I mean, in 20 years, big, powerful, almost monopolistic networks have gone up thousands and thousands of percent. I mean, we've never seen this before, Trey. And it's interesting. I confess in the book, I missed it. I mean, I remember looking at Google and saying, gosh, this thing's growing like a weed, but it's not making any money and it's really expensive. Nah, I don't want that. Same thing with Amazon. Same thing with Facebook. Do you know what I mean? And so I just missed it. I mean, networking businesses accrue value in a different way. They really do, because they kind of play, it's kind of winner take all. And so, those are the businesses. I mean, as Bitcoin is a monetary network with a fixed supply, so it's accruing value in kind of that same way, right? So, therefore, like I say again, I think the important takeaway from anybody watching this and skeptical of Bitcoin is to learn more about it and accept the possibility that you don't have to buy a lot of it, but because of this network growth and valuation growth, you might be really experience regret if you don't have some of it.
Michael Saylor, co-founder of Strategy, has issued a crucial message about Bitcoin amid ongoing market uncertainty. As the crypto market struggles in early Sunday trading, Bitcoin continues to maintain a nearly flat price, currently valued at $97,117. Saylor's remark, "When you buy Bitcoin, you strengthen the network. When you sell Bitcoin, you weaken it," underlines his belief in the long-term value of holding Bitcoin and supporting its network effects. Cryptocurrency prices have been volatile, with many digital assets showing losses. Bitcoin experienced a slight dip of 0.45% in the last 24 hours, while other coins like Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, and Cardano fell between 1% and 4%. Several smaller cryptocurrencies, including Algorand, Bittenser, Pyth, and Dogwifet, saw losses up to 6%. Total crypto liquidations have surpassed $89 million, a figure that reflects the tremors felt throughout the market. Despite the uncertainty, Bitcoin's trading range remains tight, hinting at potential movements soon. Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, recently resumed its Bitcoin purchases after a brief pause. The firm spent $742.4 million on Bitcoin in early February, reinforcing its commitment to the cryptocurrency. With traders eyeing the $100,000 milestone, Bitcoin's future remains both challenging and promising. Investors continue to watch how shifting consumer prices and central bank policies will shape the market, keeping a keen eye on every development as this volatile landscape unfolds. Market observers note that these signals underscore cautious optimism. Amid price swings and regulatory debates, Bitcoin still stands as a promising asset for long-term investors seeking financial stability.
The invention is actually in the proof of work and in the way the network got developed.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have killed this thing in the early years.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't know if you're familiar, there's something called a 51% attack. But it's, the thing that the network provides is the ability to prevent double spending, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we know that each coin is real and therefore it can't, and you can't cheat. However, and it's based on computing power that runs the algorithm. And now that computing power is enormous, right? There's billions of dollars spent on computers that run this. So it'd be, but in the early days, you could do this on your own Apple PC, or IBM PC, and it wasn't a lot of computing power. And so if you gained up and you got 51% of the computing power, you could put in fake transactions and game the network. Okay, that was so that's the risk technologically. Now, so if somebody comes along and they try and build another one that's similar, it's going to have a similar design. It's going to have that similar feature. And in the early days, people will, and I've heard it's happened. I'm not familiar with the cases, but I've heard people will attack it. And so in other words, the fact that it kind of grew up, and this actually goes also to the government risk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if 14 years ago, every government in the world said, "Oh my, this is a real threat to our fiat currencies. We need to make this illegal, tax the hell out of it, and threaten to send people to jail if they use Bitcoin," they could have killed it very easily back then. It was just too small. And, everyone would say, why do I want to mess with that? The governments hate it, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're here, and it's kind of like, in my view, it's kind of unstoppable. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's very hard to roll back all of that history. And if somebody tried to start another one, it would be vulnerable to that 51% attack issue. So I'm not saying something better can't come along, and I always have my eyes open for that. But boy, if you look at the number of users and the size and the compute power, there's nothing even close. And so it would take something really substantial to bring something else along. And even if that happened, you'd have time to make the change. Silver has kind of been demonetized by gold, and yet it's not worthless.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about would be another coin demonetizing Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And so there would be a transition period. It wouldn't happen in 2 days.
Bitcoin is showing an intriguing pattern known as a bullish megaphone, or broadening wedge, which could push its price to between $270,000 and $300,000 by 2025. This pattern forms as the price creates a series of higher highs and lower lows, signaling a period of orderly accumulation. Last November, Bitcoin broke above the upward trend line of this pattern and has since consolidated its gains. Analysts suggest that a breakout above this level may trigger a parabolic rise, much like what has been observed in other strong upward moves. Market expert Dirk van Laken notes that Bitcoin is now in wave 5 of an impulse wave, often the most explosive phase. In technical terms, Wave 5 usually extends 1.618 to 2.0 times the length of the preceding wave, which aligns with the projected price range. Meanwhile, some comparisons to gold's historical growth trajectory hint that Bitcoin could even climb beyond $300,000, potentially following a path similar to the precious metals rise. Institutional interest is growing as well, with companies and even banks starting to treat Bitcoin as a valuable treasury asset. This blend of technical signals and increasing adoption paints an exciting picture for Bitcoin's future. And do not forget to subscribe to Bitcoin Seller. The most important news will reach your inbox on a daily basis and for free. I do not know why you have not subscribed yet. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more daily updates. Remember, knowledge is power, and we're here to empower you on your financial journey. Until next time, happy investing.